welcome to Sarah's Stamping Retreat. Today we're going to be creating some Z-fold spinner cards, and I got the idea for these cards from Jennifer Maguire, so I'll link her video below, but I wanted to put my own spin on it. So we're going to be creating them using some really gorgeous die sets that I was gifted by Spellbinders, and they are Envelope of Wonder die sets. So there are a few in the series, but today we're going to be using this Envelope of Wonder die set, and you can see that this one is the one that has the envelope in. We're not going to be using the envelope today, we're just going to be using all the beautiful floral die cuts. I'm totally in love with those flowers, they're so gorgeous and there's so many of them. And then we're going to be using two of the coordinating sets as well, and again we're not going to be using them with the envelope, but they're really beautiful in their own right. So we've got this Halloween Wonder, which has all the Halloween imagery on it, and then this Autumn Wonder, which has got these really cute kind of autumn images. But I think that's also really useful for other times of year, because you could absolutely use all the foliage and the mushrooms in kind of different colours all year round. So I'm going to start with the ones from the Envelope of Wonder. We're going to make 3 cards today, and you can see I've got all of these gorgeous die cuts, and although there's so many here, because there are so many dies, I put all of these through with only 2 passes of the machine. You can see there's literally 2 of everything. And so even though I've got tons of die cuts, it didn't take a ridiculous amount of time to cut them all out. So I'm going to start with the actual card blank. So I've got an A6 card blank here, so that is 4 1/8 inches by 5 7/8 inches. And I'm going to score that down the middle of this front bit. So I'm going to score that right down the middle, and that will create our Z fold. So then I'm going to use my circle dies to cut out an aperture, but I want to make sure my sentiment fits in the aperture, so I'm going to make the sentiment first. So please excuse this really scrappy bit of cardstock. I'm trying to use up loads of scraps at the moment. I'm going to use this Envelope of Wonder sentiment stamp set, and I'm going to use this Sending Birthday Wishes sentiment. And you can see on the back of here, you also get this tag with the Envelope of Wonder that you can use, but I'm not going to use that on this one because I want my sentiment to be on my spinner for this one. So I'm going to stamp this twice because it's going to be a spinner. I want one on each side. I'm going to stamp it with plenty of space around the outside so that I can die cut it out with my circles. So then I'm going to use this quite small die to cut out the sentiments, and then I'm going to use the next one up to cut 2 circles from this sage green cardstock. That's the sage from Spellbinders. And then I'm going to use this one to cut a circle from this yellow cardstock. So each one's just a level up. So now I've got these 2 piles of circles, which are going to be the 2 sides to my spinner. So I'm going to just glue those together. And I really love cards like this for using up a load of scraps. You can see how many scraps I've used just on this one card. It's really nice for all those little bits that I always seem to get. I can never throw away because I know I'll use them for something like this. So that's my spinner, and then I'm going to use the die that is 2 sizes up to cut the aperture in my card, because I wanted enough space for the spinner to spin round. So I'm going to cut that into this folded piece. So I want to tape my circle so that it's halfway onto the card, and then I'm going to die cut that like that. So you can see that will fold like that. So then I want to put my spinner in place, and to do that I'm going to use some of this silver thread. Now ideally I would use a see-through thread, but I'm not going to buy see-through thread just for the sake of one video. So I'm going to use 1 strand of this silver thread, and I don't think you'll see that very well. So that's the aim, not to be able to really see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some tape runner into the crease of this fold. And like I said, I'm putting my own spin on things, so if you watch Jennifer Maguire's video, you will find she does things differently to me. So I'm just sticking this along there, and then I'm going to cover this with a decorative strip of paper. So you could use all sorts of things for this. You could use pattern paper, you could use plain paper like I'm doing, you could use ribbon if you've got a thin ribbon, you don't want anything too thick because it needs to be able to bend. But it's just something to cover that line and to look pretty rather than seeing all that thread. And then I'm going to bend that back again and just burnish that so that the paper bends as well. You could use a coordinating paper if you wanted it to blend in. I've obviously used a contrast. You're not really going to see that though because it's going to open like this, so nobody's really going to be looking at that. So then I'm going to make sure I have a nice line of tape along the middle of these, and then I'm going to add some more around the outside. And then I'm going to place this on here, and I want to make sure that I'm not sticking it to that cardstock, but I want to make sure that it's placed on the string nicely where I want it. And then I want to put this other one on the back. So then you can see then when you open that up, that can spin. And when you put it in the envelope, if you spin it a few times before you put it in the envelope, then when you open it up, it'll twist around, which I think is really cute. So now I want to decorate the card with these die cuts. So now that I've got those on that side of the card, I'm going to cut off the excess. And I want to do around this side of the card. I'm actually just going to slide the die in there so that I can see, because I want to leave this gap around this side like I have around the other side so that it looks balanced. And let's trim that excess off again. And so now you can see we've got this really beautiful card, and it opens up, so you could decorate this piece if you wanted to and write your sentiment on the back. I'm going to write my message here inside the card. I think that looks really pretty. And then actually I've still got quite a few of these die cuts that I can use on a different card as well. So then for this next card I'm going to use the Halloween set, and I'm going to start off my card in the exact same way. So I'm going to score down the middle of my card front. I'm going to fold it back, and this time I still want a circular aperture, but I'm not going to put my sentiment in it like I did last time. I want to put one of these bats in it. So I want to choose a size of die where my bat can easily spin round. So this one will be fine. So it's quite a lot bigger aperture than we had before. And I also want to use the next die down to cut a circle from orange cardstock. So I'm going to do this in the same way as I did before. I'm folding that side back, and I'm going to tape this onto here. So then I'm going to pop a piece of thread down just like I did last time. And then this time I'm going to use a piece of black paper just to blend in more. And where you can see that white core coming out there, what I'll do after I've finished filming is just run a black marker down that to cover that up. But realistically, like I said on the last one, people really aren't going to see that very much because you open the card like this. So then I'm going to add my orange circle behind there, and then I'm going to just glue this on. So I'm going to place this where I want it in there. And then I can place that over the top. And what I forgot to do before I did that, but it's fine because we can still do it now, is to put the body pieces on the back. So I've got some grey body pieces. And you can obviously do this with any shape as long as it's symmetrical. Like I couldn't have done it with the ghost because the ghosts aren't symmetrical. So then again, if you just change that around and put that in a card, and when you take it out it's going to spin. So that's really fun. And then I'm going to decorate it with ghosts. And you can see by the back of this, I've really used like oddments of cardstock for this, but you're just not going to notice, so it's quite nice in that way. And I'm putting this one in specifically here because I want him to hold this banner, and then I could add the boo to the banner. And then I'm going to decorate around the outside with some of the other ghosts. And I'm actually going to let this one overhang there, so then it kind of comes across, but it overhangs this piece as well. And again, this one at the top, I'm just going to glue it to the one side. I'm going to make it kind of hang over the other side too. I don't know if you noticed, but there's a bigger and a smaller ghost here. So I've used 8 ghosts, so it's 4 passes of the ghost die through because you get a big and a small one each time. So then I'm just going to trim those edges off. So then I decided it needed something else, so I've cut out some more of these little banners to go across the larger ghosts. So then I can just chop the ends off there. And then we've got this really cute Halloween spinner. So then for today's final card, I'm going to use the Autumn Wonder set. And we've got these cute mushrooms that I want to make into a topper. And for this one, I'm going to do a square card to show you how to use different card shapes. It's really simple, just the same as the other ones. So I've got a 5-inch square card blank. I'm going to score it 2.5 inches. And then I can fold that back. And this time I want the spinner to be in the middle of the card. So I'm going to die cut it like this. So then I've also cut 2 of these green circles that are 2 sizes smaller than my aperture. So on one of them I'm going to pop my mushrooms. And then I'm going to pop some foam pads behind these 2. So then I'm going to just heat emboss the same sentiment as we used last time onto this dark green cardstock. So that's sending birthday wishes again. I'm going to use this bright white Superfine embossing powder from Wow. And then I'm going to cut that out using my circle die. So then on this one I'm going to layer up my sentiment, and then I've got all these circles. And then those circles kind of help pad that out onto that bigger circle. So then I'm going to add this spinner in the exact same way I've done on my other cards. And I've chosen some of this kind of neutrally coloured paper to cover the seam this time. So then you can see we've got that on that side and the sending birthday wishes on the other side. And then I'm going to decorate around the outside with these leaf shapes. And again, you get quite a lot of leaves in the pack, so I've just run them all through twice. And I can trim the excess off the back. And so then I think this one's nice because it doesn't have the same on each side. It has this one and then it has this one, so you can have it either way round. And it'll spin when it comes out of the envelope. So then there are all of our Z Fold spinner cards for today. I really hope you like them. Please do let me know in the comments below which is your favourite. I love to hear which ones you like the best. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate you clicking like below, and you can also press subscribe if you'd like to see future videos. If you press the bell button and select all, then YouTube will also notify you when I've got new videos available. All of the products that I've used for today's cards are listed in the description below, and there's also a link there to my blog where you can find a picture supply list if that helps you find what you're looking for. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.